The winter wind rattled the tall windows of the Kingsley, but inside everything glowed with warmth. Chandeliers shimmered above velvet booths, while waiters glided past tables with silver trays balanced effortlessly. Olivia Hayes tightened the knot of her apron and tucked a loose strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Her fingertips were rough from washing dishes, a stark contrast to the polished silverware she arranged with practiced precision. She had picked up the evening shift for one reason. Liam's third birthday was days away. The fire truck toy he wanted with real sirens and flashing lights wasn't in her budget. But another double shift might change that. Some nights she felt like she was looking at life through a window she couldn't open. Tonight was one of those nights. The restaurant manager, Thomas, approached, his voice low but urgent. "Olivia, we've got a VIP reservation coming in. Table 9 by the window. Handle it personally." Her eyebrows lifted. "Any special instructions?" "Just the usual excellence." Thomas straightened his already impeccable tie. "And don't mention who they are if you recognize them. Discretion is why they choose us." Olivia nodded, mentally calculating the potential tip against Liam's birthday wish. 20 minutes until the reservation. Just enough time to call home. Mrs. Peterson answered on the third ring. "He's fine, dear. Already had his dinner, and now he's coloring dinosaurs. Don't worry yourself." Through the phone, Olivia could hear Liam's small voice in the background, explaining the difference between a stegosaurus and a triceratops to his stuffed turtle. Her heart squeezed. "Tell him Mommy loves him. I'll be home to tuck him in." "You work too hard, dear." Mrs. Peterson's voice carried the gentle reproach of someone who had seen too many young people sacrifice their present for an uncertain future. Not hard enough. Olivia's gaze drifted to the window where snow was beginning to fall. Not yet. She hung up and returned to her station, surveying the dining room with the practiced eye of someone who had learned to read people's needs before they spoke them. At table 9 near the large frosted window, a man sat alone. He had arrived early for the VIP reservation. Dark blue shirt, no flashy watch, no designer labels immediately visible. He had ordered a glass of water and the roasted chicken. He looked out of place in a room of curated appearances and platinum cards, yet seemed completely at ease. Olivia passed his table while delivering drinks to a nearby couple. Their eyes met. He nodded, offered a small, polite smile, not flirtatious. She liked that. 10 minutes later, she saw her. The blind date. A tall brunette in a designer coat with a fur-lined collar that probably cost more than Olivia's monthly rent. She moved like someone used to attention scanning the restaurant with a practiced eye. When she spotted the man at table 9, her expression fell subtly, disappointment flickering across her carefully made-up features. "Are you Nathan?" The woman's voice carried across the restaurant, making several diners look up. He stood and offered his hand. "Yes, Veronica. Nice to meet you." She didn't take it, just sat and opened the menu with a sigh that suggested she was already calculating her escape. Olivia wasn't trying to listen, but walking past to check on her other table, she caught it. "You ordered chicken and water. Seriously, I thought this was a real restaurant." Veronica's voice was deliberately loud enough to establish her dissatisfaction for anyone nearby. Nathan's voice remained calm. "It is. I just prefer simple meals." Veronica scoffed. "Right, trying to look humble? It just screams cheap." She tilted her head, smug. "Let me guess. Tech guy pretending to be self-made but scraping by." Nathan said nothing, but Olivia saw it. A flicker of something, not anger, but a quiet pain quickly controlled. She recognized it because she'd felt it herself that moment when someone decided who you were based on what you ordered or wore. Then came the spill. Veronica waved her hand in irritation while discussing the wine list, her glass-tipped red wine soaking Nathan's shirt front. "Oh my God," she groaned. "This night is cursed." Olivia rushed over, cloth napkin in hand, crouching to blot Nathan's shirt. He nodded in silent thanks, a gesture that acknowledged her help without demanding it. Veronica sneered. "I bet you're used to this kind of mess. You two probably shop at the same discount store." The restaurant went quiet, that peculiar hush that falls when everyone is pretending not to listen while straining to hear every word. Olivia rose slowly, holding the wet napkin. Her cheeks flushed, but her voice stayed steady. "I'm sorry, but no one deserves to be spoken to like that. Not him, not anyone." Veronica blinked. "Excuse me." Olivia didn't back down. "You don't get to judge people by what they wear or what they order. And if respect isn't on your menu tonight, maybe this isn't your place." A hush swept across the nearby tables. Then Thomas appeared, materializing the way managers do when trouble erupts. "Olivia," he hissed. "My office, now." Nathan stood. He turned to Thomas, voice calm but firm. "She didn't do anything wrong. She saved the evening from becoming a complete disaster." His eyes moved to Veronica. "I think we can agree this date is over." Veronica grabbed her purse, face flushed with embarrassment rather than remorse. "Whatever. Call me when you're ready for a real restaurant." She swept out, coat billowing behind her like a villain's cape. Thomas's expression was thunderous. "Olivia, office." Olivia followed him to the cramped back office, heart hammering against her ribs. The walls seemed to close in framed restaurant reviews and certificates of excellence, watching her like judgmental eyes. Thomas didn't offer her a seat. "What were you thinking? You never insert yourself into a guest's conversation. You never contradict the patron. You certainly never suggest they leave." She was being deliberately cruel. "I couldn't just—" "Your job isn't to decide who's being cruel. Your job is to serve, period." Thomas ran a hand through his thinning hair. "I'm putting you on suspension. 2 weeks unpaid. And when you come back, you'll be on probation." The room tilted. 2 weeks without pay, the rent increase notice on her kitchen counter, Liam's birthday, the fire truck toy. All of it collapsed into a single point of panic in her chest. "Please, Thomas, I need this job. I need the hours." "You should have thought of that before playing hero." His voice wasn't cruel, just matter-of-fact, which somehow made it worse. A knock on the door interrupted them. Nathan stood in the doorway, his wine-stained shirt now covered by his suit jacket. "Excuse me, I'd like a word." Thomas's demeanor transformed instantly. "Of course, sir. Just addressing a service issue." Nathan stepped into the small office. "That's what I want to discuss." He handed Thomas a business card. Thomas's face went slack as he read it. "Nathan Mitchell, CEO, Azimuth Holdings." Thomas murmured, then looked up, face pale. "I didn't realize. We're honored to have you dining with us, Mr. Mitchell. I came here because I've heard good things about the Kingsley. It's one of our more successful acquisitions." Nathan's tone was pleasant, but carried an undercurrent of authority that filled the small room. "But what I witnessed tonight concerns me." Thomas swallowed. "Sir, I assure you this kind of service interruption is completely unacceptable. We're addressing it immediately." "You misunderstand." Nathan turned to Olivia. "Your name is Olivia, correct?" She nodded, unable to find her voice. Olivia was the only person who demonstrated actual hospitality tonight. She showed courage and compassion, the values your training manual probably claims to instill. His eyes returned to Thomas. "The issue with your waitress isn't about poor judgment. It's the opposite. She was the only one who stood up when something was clearly wrong." Thomas's mouth opened and closed without sound. Nathan continued, "I'd like to speak with the regional manager tomorrow about some changes, including discussing a new position, assistant manager of staff development. We need someone who understands what compassion looks like on the floor." Olivia's mind raced to catch up with the conversation. Thomas nodded rapidly. "Of course, sir. I'll arrange everything." Nathan turned to Olivia. "Would you have time to discuss this tomorrow? Say 10 o'clock at the coffee shop across the street?" She found her voice at last. "Yes, thank you." After Nathan left, Thomas looked at her with a mixture of confusion and resentment. "Suspension canceled. Be here tomorrow after your meeting." Outside in the employee parking lot, the snow fell in fat, lazy flakes. Olivia sat in her car, hands gripping the steering wheel, not yet turning the key. Her breath fogged the windshield as she tried to process what had just happened. From nearly fired to, what exactly a promotion? A courtesy gesture from a powerful man who would forget her name by morning. She drove home through streets transformed by snow, the world muffled and new. Mrs. Peterson was dozing on the couch, a mystery novel open on her lap. Liam was asleep in his bed, curled around his stuffed turtle's small hand, clutching a crayon even in sleep. A drawing lay beside him, stick figures that could only be the two of them, standing before what looked like a castle. "Was he good?" Olivia whispered, after gently waking Mrs. Peterson. "An angel as always. Told me all about the biggest dinosaurs. That boy has a memory like a steel trap." Mrs. Peterson gathered her things. "Everything all right at work? You look different." "I'm not sure. Something happened. Could be good, could be complicated. After Mrs. Peterson left, Olivia checked the mail she'd been too rushed to open that morning. Behind the usual bills was a notice she'd been dreading. Rent increase effective first of the month, Liam's birthday. A 20% jump that might as well have been 100. She placed it on the broken wall clock that hung on the kitchen wall, a bitter symbolism not lost on her. A gift from Liam's father before he'd revealed he had another family and disappeared from their lives. Time running out in more ways than one. Morning came with crystalline brightness, sunlight glinting off fresh snow. Olivia stood before her closet, discarding outfit after outfit. Too casual, too formal, too worn, too impractical. She settled on her one good blouse and the black pants she kept for catering events, hoping they struck the right balance between professional and authentic. Liam watched from her bed, building a fort with pillows. "Are you going to a castle, Mommy?" "Just a coffee shop, buddy, to meet someone about work." "Is it a prince? In my books, people get dressed up to meet princes." She smiled, kneeling to his level. "Not a prince, just a man who might help Mommy get a better job. With more money for toys." His directness, innocent and unfiltered, both hurt and motivated her. "Maybe, but you know what's more important than toys." She touched his nose lightly. "Love and time and being together," he recited, having heard this many times. Then his expression turned serious. "But the fire truck would be good too." She hugged him tight, inhaling the scent of baby shampoo and crayons. "We'll figure it out, I promise, Mrs. Peterson arrived to watch Liam today with a bag of colored pipe cleaners for crafting. Olivia thanked her, knowing she couldn't afford to pay the elderly woman what her time was worth. Another debt of gratitude accumulating interest she wasn't sure how to repay. The coffee shop was busy with morning customers, the aroma of espresso and pastries creating an atmosphere of comfort and possibility. Nathan sat at a corner table, laptop open, dressed in a tailored suit that looked effortlessly expensive. He stood when he saw her. "Olivia, thank you for coming. Coffee?" She ordered a simple drip coffee, conscious of every dollar. They sat across from each other, steam rising between them like an unspoken question. Nathan closed his laptop. "I want to explain my proposal properly. Azimuth Holdings owns 12 restaurants in the region, including the Kingsley. We've been successful financially, but I've become concerned about our company culture." "What does that have to do with me?" The question came out more bluntly than she intended. "Everything." His expression was earnest, lacking the corporate smoothness she expected. "Last night I saw someone who instinctively stood up for basic human dignity, regardless of status or consequence. That's rare, especially in environments where service often means subservience." Olivia wrapped her hands around her coffee mug, absorbing its warmth. "I just did what seemed right." "Exactly. And I need someone who knows what right looks like to help train our staff. Not just reciting policy, but embodying the values we claim to have." Her skepticism must have shown on her face. Nathan leaned forward slightly. "This isn't charity, Olivia. It's a business decision. Customers remember how they're treated. Staff turnover costs us thousands. This position, assistant manager of staff development, would involve creating training programs, mentoring new hires, and helping establish a culture of authentic hospitality. Why not promote someone with management experience? Because experience without empathy is just efficiency, and we have plenty of efficient managers." He slid a folder across the table. "This outlines the position. Salary, benefits, hours. Take time to think about it." Olivia opened the folder, scanning the first page. The salary figure made her breath catch, nearly double what she made now. Health insurance, paid vacation, a professional development stipend. This is, generous. It's market rate for the responsibilities. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowning slightly. "Excuse me a moment." He stepped away to take the call, his voice low but tense. "I've made my decision." "No, this isn't about that. We're not having this conversation again." Olivia studied the contract mind, calculating rent, childcare, maybe even starting a small savings account. Perhaps community college classes to finish the business degree she'd abandoned when Liam came along. Nathan returned, his expression composed once more. "Sorry about that. Is everything okay?" "Just someone questioning my decision-making." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "So what do you think? Just because I defended you doesn't mean I need saving. I need respect, not charity." The words came out before she could filter them. I appreciate the opportunity truly, but I need to know this is real, not some impulse hire you'll regret next week. Rather than offense, respect flickered across his features. Fair enough. How about this, a 3-month trial period? You can see if the role fits you, and Azimuth can evaluate the program's effectiveness. After that, we formalize the position, or you return to your previous role with a retention bonus. Oh, it was more than fair. Still, caution held her back. I need to think about it. Check childcare options, look at the details. Of course, take the weekend. He hesitated, then added, I should mention this role would require some evening hours for training sessions, occasional travel to other locations. The logistics immediately complicated in her mind. Mrs. Peterson couldn't handle evening childcare regularly, and Liam was too young for most after-school programs. Nathan seemed to read her thoughts. We're also developing a pilot childcare program for employees with non-traditional hours. Your input on that would be valuable too. The pieces began shifting into a possible future she could almost see. I'll let you know by Monday. They parted with a handshake, his grip firm but not dominating. Olivia walked back to her car folder, clutched against her chest like a shield or a treasure, she wasn't sure which. The weekend passed in a blur of calculations and conversations. Peterson offered expanded hours, but admitted her arthritis made evenings difficult. The nearby daycare had a waiting list for extended care. Olivia called her sister in Ohio, who responded with enthusiasm, but little practical help from 2 states away. Liam sensed her distraction. Are you sad, Mommy? They sat on their small balcony, bundled in blankets, watching the sunset paint the sky in impossible colors. Not sad, buddy. Just thinking hard about grown-up stuff. Is it about the prince who's not a prince? She smiled. Sort of. He offered Mommy a different job. One that would mean more money, but also more time away sometimes. Liam considered this with the seriousness only a 3-year-old can muster. Would you still tuck me in? Most nights, yes, but sometimes Mrs. Peterson might have to. She doesn't do the voices right in stories. His lower lip trembled slightly. Olivia pulled him closer. I know, buddy, but she loves you. And sometimes we have to try new things so life can get better, even if they're a little scary at first. Like when I tried broccoli, she laughed. Exactly like that. Monday morning arrived with a decision. Olivia dropped Liam at his preschool, his dinosaur backpack nearly as big as he was, and drove to the Kingsley. Nathan was waiting in the conference room along with a Thomas and a woman introduced as the regional manager. I'll accept the position, Olivia said, with the 3-month trial period we discussed. The relief on Nathan's face was subtle but unmistakable. The regional manager looked skeptical but said nothing as they reviewed the contract and outlined the onboarding process. Thomas maintained a professional demeanor that didn't quite hide his confusion at this turn of events. When the meeting concluded, Nathan walked Olivia to her car. Thank you for taking this chance. I believe you'll be excellent at this. I hope you're right, for both our sakes. She hesitated, then added, Can I ask you something? Of course. Why were you at the Kingsley that night? CEOs don't usually eat alone at their own restaurants. A shadow crossed his face. Sometimes I need to remember what's real, what our customers actually experience, not what reports tell me they should experience. He glanced at his watch, an understated piece that probably cost more than her car. I have another meeting. We'll talk soon about your first training session. Olivia's first day in her new role began with awkward introductions and barely concealed resentment. The staff break room fell silent when she entered the conversations, resuming only after she left. James, a senior waiter who had been at the Kingsley for 8 years, was particularly cold. So you're supposed to teach us about authentic hospitality now? His air quotes dripped with sarcasm. Because you stood up to a rude customer once. No, because I've been on the receiving end of both good and bad treatment. Same as you, same as our customers. Olivia kept her voice even. I'm not here to lecture anyone. I'm here to create a space where we can all do better. James shrugged. Whatever the boss's pet project wants. The whispers followed her through the day. Pet project, charity case, sleeping her way up. Each one stung, but Olivia focused on learning the systems, reviewing training materials, and observing service patterns. Nathan had given her this chance. She wouldn't waste it on office politics. By the third day, she identified her first challenge. The schedule was a mess, experienced staff all clustered on lucrative weekend shifts, newer employees thrown into busy sections without support, no consistency for anyone trying to plan their lives around work. When she mentioned this to Thomas, he dismissed it. Scheduling is a headache. No system works perfectly. But this one isn't working at all. People are frustrated, turnover among new hires is high, and customer service suffers on understaffed shifts. Thomas sighed. Fine. You want to fix it? Be my guest. Olivia spent the weekend creating a new scheduling system, balancing experience levels across shifts, creating mentorship pairs, and ensuring everyone got at least some weekend shifts in rotation. When she presented it on Monday, Thomas reluctantly agreed to try it. James was the first to object when the new schedule was posted. This is garbage. I always work Saturday nights. That's my section, my regulars. Everyone will rotate through prime shifts now, Olivia explained. It's more fair, and it gives newer staff a chance to learn from experienced people like you. Fair, I earned those shifts. You've been here, what, a week in a made-up position? James's voice rose, drawing attention from other staff members gathering for the pre-shift meeting. The position is real, and so are the problems with the current system. Olivia stood her ground, though her stomach churned. Change is hard, I get that, but this will be better for everyone in the long run. You don't know anything about everyone. You're just doing whatever Mitchell wanted so you can keep your cushy new office. James stepped closer, the intimidation in his posture. Some of us have worked for everything we have. The room was silent, everyone watching the confrontation unfold. Olivia took a slow breath. You're right about one thing. I don't know everything about everyone, including you, James. So instead of assuming the worst about each other, why don't you tell me what you're actually concerned about? The directness caught him off guard. He stepped back slightly. My Saturday regulars tip well. I count on that money for my mother's care facility payments. Understanding dawned. So this isn't about territory, it's about financial security. James didn't respond, but the tight line of his mouth confirmed it. What if we made sure your overall tips didn't decrease? You'd still have Saturdays twice a month, but we could put you with the higher spending weekday corporate clients on other shifts. Olivia turned to the group. Actually, let's talk about how tips are distributed in general. There might be ways to make the system work better for everyone. The tension in the room shifted from hostility to cautious interest. For the next 30 minutes, Olivia facilitated a conversation about scheduling sections and compensation that had clearly been needed for years. By the end, even James grudgingly admitted the new approach might work. We'll try it for 2 weeks, and he said, if my take-home drops, we revisit. That's fair, Olivia agreed. Thank you for being open to it. As the staff dispersed to prepare for the dinner shift, Olivia noticed Nathan standing quietly at the back of the room. How long he had been there, she wasn't sure. He nodded once, a simple acknowledgement, then disappeared before anyone else noticed him. The new schedule was just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Olivia tackled training inconsistencies, service bottlenecks, and communication gaps between kitchen and front-of-house staff. Some days were victories, others were 2 steps back. Through it all, Nathan remained supportive but distant, checking in regularly but giving her space to establish her own authority. The real test came when the schedule conflict reached critical mass. James discovered that someone had changed the digital schedule, putting him back on all Saturday shifts and moving newer staff to weekday lunches. The affected employees were furious. Schedules had been rearranged, childcare arranged. The pre-shift meeting dissolved into chaos. This isn't what we agreed to, one server shouted. Of course not, because agreements don't mean anything here anymore, another replied. Olivia raised her hands. Everyone, please. This wasn't authorized. I'll fix it immediately. Easy for you to say, James responded, though his usual hostility seemed forced. You're not the one whose schedule got jerked around. The scheduling system showed the changes had been made using Thomas's login, but he denied making them. Olivia suspected James himself trying to sabotage the new system, but had no proof. Regardless, she needed a solution now, with a full house expected for dinner and half her staff ready to walk out. Okay, here's what we're going to do, she announced, projecting calm she didn't feel. For tonight only, we'll use the original schedule everyone agreed to. Tomorrow morning, I want everyone affected by this mix-up to meet with me personally. We'll work out a compromise that honors both your needs and our commitment to customers. And if we can't, James challenged. Olivia met his gaze directly. Then I'll work every shift myself until we figure it out. This restaurant, these customers, and most importantly, all of you deserve better than petty sabotage. A murmur ran through the group. James had the grace to look uncomfortable. Now let's have a great service tonight and show that we can rise above problems, not create them. Olivia finished with more confidence than she felt. The staff dispersed, not happy, but functional. After they left, Olivia sank into a chair, the adrenaline crash leaving her shaky. She had no idea if her solution would work or if she'd face a mutiny by morning. Her phone chimed with a text from Mrs. Peterson. Liam asking when you'll be home. Fever back 100.2. The world tilted slightly. Liam's ear infection from last week was supposed to be improving. She texted back that she'd be home as soon as possible, then buried her face in her hands for just a moment. When she looked up, Nathan was standing in the doorway. Rough day, he asked quietly. You could say that. Someone sabotaged the schedule. Half the staff is ready to quit. And now my son's fever is back. She hadn't meant to add that last part, but exhaustion had lowered her filters. Nathan frowned. I'm sorry about your son. Do you need to go? I should, but I can't leave this mess, not tonight. She gestured to the dining room beyond the door, already filling with customers. What if I help cover? I started in restaurants, you know. I can still carry plates without dropping them. His offer was so unexpected that Olivia laughed. The CEO of Azimuth Holdings waiting tables on a Friday night? I don't think so. Why not? Might be good for morale. Show everyone we're serious about all hands on deck when needed. His expression was earnest without condescension. Thank you, but no, I'll handle it. She stood straightening her blazer. Liam's with Mrs. Peterson. She's good with him. I'll check in by phone and leave as soon as the dinner rush is over. Nathan nodded, respecting her decision. For what it's worth, you handled that situation brilliantly. Standing your ground while still acknowledging everyone's concerns. That's exactly why I wanted you in this role. His approval shouldn't have mattered as much as it did. Thanks, I just hope it works. It will, and if anyone asks, I'll back whatever solution you come up with. He hesitated, then added, if you need to bring your son in tomorrow for that meeting, it's fine. We can set him up in my office with some dinosaur documentaries. Olivia blinked. How did you know he likes dinosaurs? A slight smile. Lucky guess. Most 3-year-olds do. The dinner service was chaotic but successful. The staff, despite their frustrations, pulled together professionally. By the time the last customers left, a tentative peace had settled over the restaurant. Olivia checked her phone constantly for updates from Mrs. Peterson, relieved when the fever began to drop after another dose of medicine. She was gathering her things to leave when James approached, his usual confidence muted. I need to tell you something. I'm listening. I changed the schedule. He wouldn't meet her eyes. I thought if I made a mess of your system, everyone would want to go back to the old way. Olivia took a moment to control her response. Why tell me now? Because it didn't work. People were angry, but not at your system, at whoever messed it up. He finally looked at her. And because you said you'd work every shift yourself rather than let the customers or staff suffer. That's not what I expected. What did you expect? That you'd blame someone else, or give up, or run to Mitchell for help? He shrugged, but you didn't. Olivia considered her response carefully. Thank you for being honest. We'll need to discuss this tomorrow, but I appreciate you telling me the truth. James nodded, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. Your kid okay? I overheard about the fever. He's better, thanks for asking. As James walked away, Olivia realized the restaurant had grown quiet. The kitchen shut down, the dining room dark except for security lights. Through the frosted windows, she could see snow beginning to fall again, large flakes catching the streetlight glow. A fresh start for tomorrow, covering today's complications. She drove home through empty streets, the city transformed by snow and night into something almost magical. In her apartment, Mrs. Peterson dozed on the couch, a mystery novel open on her lap, a mirror image of weeks before when everything had started changing. Liam was asleep in his bed, cheeks still flushed, but his breathing even. Olivia touched his forehead, gently cooler, now the medicine working. Beside him lay a drawing of what appeared to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex wearing what might have been a necktie. The innocence of it, the pure childish imagination, made her throat tight with emotions she couldn't name. After settling Mrs. Peterson into a taxi with probably too much money for the fare, Olivia checked her emails one last time. Among the work messages was one from Nathan sent just minutes ago. Heard from Thomas that things settled down. Staff meeting still on for tomorrow. Bring Liam if needed, office offer stands. Documentary options attached. My favorite at his age was Walking with Dinosaurs. The simple kindness of it, remembering her son's name, offering practical help without fanfare, caught her off guard. She started to type a polite professional response, then deleted it. Instead, she wrote, "Thank you. Liam's better, but might take you up on that offer. His current dinosaur obsession is Stegosaurus. Apparently, the plates on their backs are called scutes. He corrects anyone who calls them spikes. Fair warning." She hesitated before hitting send, wondering if it was too personal. But Nathan had opened the door to that kind of exchange. Maybe it was okay to walk through it just a little. The next morning, Liam's fever was gone, but a lingering cough remained. Olivia called his preschool, who recommended keeping him home one more day. With no other options, she packed a bag of dinosaur books, quiet toys, and snacks, and brought him to the Kingsley for the staff meeting. Nathan was already there, speaking with the regional manager in low tones that ceased when they saw Olivia and Liam. The small boy clung to his mother's hand, suddenly shy in the unfamiliar environment. "You must be Liam," Nathan said, crouching to the child's level. "I hear you're an expert on dinosaurs." Liam studied him with the serious appraisal only children can truly master. "Do you know about dinosaurs too?" "Some. I know Stegosaurus had plates called scutes, not spikes." Nathan's eyes flickered to Olivia, briefly acknowledging her email. Liam's face brightened. "That's right. Most people get it wrong. Would you like to watch some dinosaur shows in my office while your mom has her meeting? I have a really big screen." Nathan pointed to his office door. Liam looked to Olivia for permission. She nodded, surprised at how naturally Nathan interacted with her son. "It's okay, buddy. I'll be right in the next room." "Can I bring Spike?" Liam held up his stuffed turtle. "Absolutely. Spike is welcome." Nathan stood, extending his hand to the boy. "I have some drawing paper too if you want to make dinosaur pictures." Liam took his hand without hesitation, an immediate trust that both warmed and concerned Olivia. As they walked away, she heard Liam ask, "Do you know why T-Rex had small arms?" "I'm not sure why," Nathan responded with genuine interest. "So they wouldn't poke themselves when they brushed their teeth." Nathan's laugh, genuine, unguarded, echoed down the hallway. It was a different sound than his usual measured chuckle, revealing something unexpected beneath the CEO exterior. The staff meeting began with tension, but ended in resolution. James publicly admitted to changing the schedule, apologizing to his colleagues. Olivia presented a revised system that addressed everyone's core concerns while maintaining the fairness principles. By the meeting's end, a new equilibrium had been established, fragile but promising. When Olivia went to collect Liam, she found him and Nathan sitting on the office floor surrounded by drawings. Liam was explaining in great detail why Brachiosaurus needed such a long neck, while Nathan listened with apparent fascination. On the desk behind them, Nathan's phone screen lit up with an incoming call, the contact photo showing an elderly woman in a hospital bed, her resemblance to Nathan unmistakable despite age and illness. Nathan noticed her arrival first. "I think your mom's here to get you paleontologist Liam." Liam jumped up, running to Olivia with drawings clutched in his hands. "Mommy, Mr. Nathan knows all about dinosaurs, and he can draw them really good." "Really well," she corrected automatically, then to Nathan. "Thank you for entertaining him." "It was my pleasure. He's remarkably knowledgeable for his age." Nathan stood, brushing imaginary dust from his impeccable suit. The phone on his desk continued to ring, but he made no move to answer it. "Shouldn't you get that?" Olivia nodded toward the phone. A shadow crossed his face. "It can wait." Liam tugged at her hand. "Can Mr. Nathan come see my dinosaurs at home? I want to show him my books." The innocent request hung in the air between them, suddenly weighted with adult complications. Nathan saved her from responding by kneeling again to Liam's level. "I'd like that someday, but right now I have a lot of work to do. Maybe another time." Liam nodded, accepting this adult logic with the flexibility of childhood. "Okay, I drew this for you." He handed Nathan a crayon drawing of what appeared to be a green dinosaur wearing a tie standing next to a smaller dinosaur. "Is this me?" Nathan asked, studying the drawing with genuine interest. "Uh-huh. You're a diplodocus because you're tall. And that's me. I'm a velociraptor because I'm fast." Nathan carefully set the drawing on his desk. This is going right on my wall. Thank you. As they left the office, Liam chattering about his morning adventure, Olivia caught a glimpse of Nathan answering his still ringing phone, his expression shifting from the warmth he'd shown Liam to something more guarded, more burdened. The contrast was striking: the man who sat on the floor drawing dinosaurs, and the CEO with responsibilities she could only imagine. In the weeks that followed, Olivia settled into her role with growing confidence. The staff's initial resistance gave way to cautious acceptance, then active participation, as they saw the benefits of her changes. Nathan remained supportive but professionally distant, their interactions focused on work with only occasional personal exchanges, usually about Liam. Then came the night that changed everything. A catering emergency left Olivia without childcare for an evening training session. Mrs. Peterson had a doctor's appointment, her sister was unreachable, and the backup sitter canceled last minute. With no alternatives, she brought Liam to the restaurant, setting him up in a quiet corner of the office, with books and snacks, promising it would only be for an hour. Be good, okay? Mommy has to teach some new people how to do their jobs. Like a teacher, Liam looked up from his coloring book. Kind of. I'll check on you every few minutes. The training session began smoothly enough. 15 minutes in, Olivia excused herself to check on Liam, finding him contentedly drawing. The second check 30 minutes later revealed an empty office. Panic seized her throat. Liam, she called, trying to keep her voice calm while her heart raced. Liam, where are you? She rushed through the office area, the break room, the storage closets. No sign of him. She was about to alert security when she heard a child's laughter from the direction of the main dining room. She followed the sound, pushing through the swinging doors to find Liam sitting at a table with Nathan, who was apparently demonstrating how to create a paper dinosaur from a napkin. Mommy, look! What Mr. Nathan made me! Liam held up a surprisingly detailed origami stegosaurus. Relief flooded her quickly, followed by embarrassment. I'm so sorry, he was supposed to stay in the office. Nathan smiled. No harm done. I found him wandering the hallway looking for the bathroom. We got to talking about dinosaurs again, and well, he gestured to the collection of paper creatures on the table. I should get him back to the office. The training session is almost over according to the schedule. Nathan checked his watch. Why don't you wrap it up, and then perhaps you both could join me for dinner I was just about to order. The invitation caught her off guard. That's very kind, but we should get home. It's already past Liam's normal dinner time. Please, Mommy, Liam pleaded. Mr. Nathan says they have mac and cheese shaped like dinosaurs. That's definitely not on the Kingsley menu, she said with a raised eyebrow. Nathan looked slightly embarrassed. I may have called in a special request to the kitchen, for authenticity's sake. The thoughtfulness of it, remembering what a 3-year-old would want to eat, left her momentarily speechless. Let me finish with the new hires. 10 minutes tops. When she returned, Liam was teaching Nathan an elaborate hand game involving dinosaur names and clapping patterns. The CEO of Azimuth Holdings was fully engaged, his usual polished demeanor replaced by genuine amusement as he tried to keep up with the complicated sequence. Dinner was surprisingly relaxed. Liam devoured his dinosaur-shaped pasta while regaling Nathan with his stories about preschool adventures. Nathan listened with what appeared to be genuine interest, asking questions that delighted the boy with their seriousness. How did you learn to make paper dinosaurs? Olivia asked during a rare lull in Liam's chatter. Hospital waiting rooms. Nathan's answer was casual but held something deeper. My mother was sick a lot when I was young. I got pretty good at entertaining myself. Is she better now? A shadow crossed his face. No, different problems, but still unwell. He redirected smoothly. Liam tells me he's having a birthday soon. Turning 4 is a big deal. Huge deal, Liam corrected solemnly. I asked Santa for a fire truck with real sirens and lights that flash. Santa, huh? That's a long wait until Christmas. Nathan's eyes met Olivia's briefly over Liam's head, understanding passing between them about the financial reality behind Santa's gifts. It's my birthday first, Liam explained with the patience of explaining complex concepts to adults. Santa sometimes brings birthday presents too, if you're really good. I see. And have you been really good? Liam nodded vigorously. The best. Ask Mommy. He has been pretty amazing, Olivia confirmed, ruffling his hair, even when things have been tough. As they finished dinner, Liam began to fade the excitement of the day catching up with him. His head drooped against Olivia's arm, eyes fighting to stay open. "I should get him home," she said softly. Nathan nodded. "Of course. Thank you for joining me. It's been refreshing." The word choice struck her as oddly vulnerable. Not entertaining, not pleasant, but refreshing, as though their company had restored something he needed. "Thank you for the dinner, and for finding him when he escaped. Any time." His gaze lingered on Liam, something wistful in his expression. "He's a remarkable kid." "He is." Pride and love swelled in her chest. "Most days, he's the only thing that makes sense in my world." Nathan walked them to her car, helping get a now sleeping Liam buckled into his car seat with surprising competence. As Olivia got into the driver's seat, Nathan leaned down to her open window. "Olivia, He hesitated, seeming uncharacteristically uncertain. "I've been meaning to tell you. The staff reports show significant improvements since you started. Morale is up, turnover is down. You're making a real difference." "Thank you. That means a lot." "It's not flattery, it's data." His attempt at making the compliment sound objective made her smile. "I knew you were the right person for this role." As she drove home through the quiet streets, Liam snoring softly in his car seat, Olivia replayed the evening in her mind. There had been moments when Nathan seemed to forget he was a CEO worth millions of moments of genuine connection that transcended their professional relationship. It was dangerous territory, she knew. He was still her boss, still from a different world. But as she carried Liam from the car to their apartment, his small body warm and trusting against her shoulder, she allowed herself to wonder what it might be like to have someone share this load, the joys and burdens of raising this extraordinary little person. For just a moment, she let herself imagine it was Nathan. The thought should have frightened her more than it did. When she tucked Liam into bed, he stirred briefly. "Mommy, can Mr. Nathan come to my birthday?" "We'll see, buddy. Go back to sleep." "He makes good dinosaurs," Liam murmured, already drifting off. "And he listens to me, like really listens." "Yes, he does." Olivia brushed the hair from his forehead, realizing Liam had identified something fundamental about Nathan that she'd noticed too, his genuine attention so rare in a world of constant distraction. She was hanging her jacket when she noticed Nathan's business card had fallen from the pocket. She turned it over, surprised to find handwriting on the back, "In case of dinosaur emergencies," followed by what appeared to be his personal cell number. The small gesture of trust and connection made her pause, wondering when he had slipped it into her jacket and what exactly it meant. Before she could overthink it, her phone chimed with a text from a number she didn't recognize. "Hope Liam sleeps well. The Stegosaurus origami instructions, https://origami.guide dinosaurs. In case future diplomatic negotiations require paper dinosaurs." Nathan. Olivia found herself smiling as she saved the contact information. Whatever was developing between them, friendship, professional mentorship, or something not yet defined, it felt like the beginning of something significant, not just for her career, but for her life and Liam's. Outside her window, the snow had stopped falling, leaving the world transformed and new under a blanket of white. Inside, something was changing too, possibilities opening like windows she'd thought permanently sealed. The elevator doors opened to reveal a pristine hospital corridor. Soft beeping of monitors and the squeak of rubber-soled shoes created a sterile symphony that Nathan Mitchell had memorized over months of visits. He carried fresh flowers, peonies, his mother's favorite, and a stack of reports tucked under one arm. The routine was as familiar as his own reflection. Arrived at 7:30 a.m., speak with the night nurse, spend an hour before heading to the office. Room 412 was unchanged medical equipment surrounding a bed where Evelyn Mitchell reclined against pillows, hair perfectly styled despite her hospitalization, reading glasses perched on her nose as she reviewed financial newspapers. The stroke 6 months ago had weakened her left side but left her mind razor sharp. "You're 4 minutes late," Evelyn noted without looking up. Nathan placed the peonies in the empty vase. "Traffic on 5th. He leaned down to kiss her cheek, inhaling the familiar scent of Chanel No. 5 that somehow persisted even in this antiseptic environment. Evelyn set aside her newspaper, and eyes narrowing as she studied her son. "You look tired. The Richardson merger keeping you up," among other things. Nathan settled into the chair beside her, opening his folder of reports. "Quarterly projections are up. The restaurant division is showing particular improvement." The division with your pet project? Evelyn's voice carried a slight edge. This waitress-turned-executive experiment. Nathan kept his expression neutral. Assistant manager of staff development isn't exactly executive level. And yes, Olivia Hayes is exceeding expectations. Employee retention is up 15% at the Kingsley. Olivia, you mention her name quite frequently in your updates. Evelyn adjusted her position, wincing slightly at the movement. I'd like to meet this woman who's suddenly so important. Nathan's fingers stilled on the report. She's an employee mother, not someone important. Your tone suggests otherwise. Evelyn's gaze was penetrating. Arrange dinner. At the house, not a restaurant. I want to see this Olivia in a setting she hasn't been trained to navigate. That's not necessary. It wasn't a request, Nathan. Evelyn's smile didn't reach her eyes. Friday at 7. I'll have Mrs. Winters prepare something suitable. Nathan recognized the immovable force before him, the woman who had scrubbed hotel toilets after his father died, who had worked 3 jobs to put herself through business school, who had built Mitchell Consulting from nothing but determination and intelligence. Arguing was pointless. I'll ask her. He turned the page in his report, moving to safer topics. The technology division has a new patent pending. The invitation felt like a summons. Olivia stood in her bedroom 3 days later, discarding outfit after outfit, none appropriate for dinner at the Mitchell mansion. Liam sat cross-legged on her bed, offering earnest opinions on each selection. The blue one looks like a princess dress. Olivia held up the navy sheath dress she'd worn to her cousin's wedding 2 years ago. Too formal. No pretty, like when Cinderella goes to the castle. Olivia sighed, adding it to the maybe pile that was significantly smaller than the definitely not heap. She'd accepted Nathan's dinner invitation with trepidation, recognizing the professional opportunity, but dreading the personal scrutiny. Meeting the mother of your boss was nerve-wracking enough. Meeting the matriarch who had built half the company was terrifying. Liam tilted his head, watching her discard another option. Mommy, why do you have to be different to be good enough? The innocent question froze Olivia mid-motion. What do you mean, buddy? You're trying to look different than normal, but you're already good. Out of the mouths of babes. Olivia sat beside him, wrapping an arm around his small shoulders. Sometimes grown-ups think they need to change to fit in with different people. But you're right, that's not always true. She selected the navy dress after all, with her one pair of decent heels. Mrs. Peterson arrived to babysit, bringing a new dinosaur coloring book that immediately captured Liam's attention. Don't you look fancy, Mrs. Peterson observed. Big date? Dinner with my boss's mother? Strictly professional. Olivia checked her minimal makeup one last time. Mrs. Peterson's knowing tone spoke volumes. The same boss whose dinosaur drawings are on the refrigerator? Olivia chose not to engage with the implication. I shouldn't be too late. Liam's medication is on the counter if his cough returns. Call if you need anything. The Mitchell estate was located in a historic district of old money and older trees. Iron gates opened to a circular driveway where Olivia's weathered sedan looked comically out of place among manicured gardens. The house itself was a colonial revival masterpiece with columns and perfect symmetry that spoke of tradition and permanence. Olivia hesitated before ringing the bell, smoothing non-existent wrinkles from her dress. Through leaded glass windows, she caught movement, someone crossing the foyer. A woman's voice carried clearly, I won't let another opportunist into our lives. The door opened before Olivia could retreat. Nathan stood there in charcoal slacks and a light blue shirt that matched his eyes with unsettling precision. His smile faltered when he saw her expression. You heard that, didn't you? His voice was low, apologetic. Olivia straightened her shoulders. I can leave if this is a mistake. The mistake would be letting her scare you away. He stepped aside to let her enter. My mother forms opinions quickly, but can be convinced to change them. Eventually. The interior was exactly as Olivia had imagined, antique furniture, oil paintings of stern-faced ancestors, Persian rugs covering gleaming hardwood floors. A formal dining room was visible through an archway table set with china and crystal that probably cost more than her annual rent. Nathan led her to a sitting room where Evelyn Mitchell awaited. Despite her recent hospitalization, Evelyn projected authority from her wingback chair. Her silver hair was styled impeccably. her cashmere sweater and pearls creating an aura of casual elegance that Olivia immediately recognized as carefully constructed. "Mrs. Mitchell, thank you for inviting me." Olivia stepped forward, hand extended. Evelyn's grip was surprisingly strong. "Ms. Hayes, Nathan speaks highly of your work. Please sit." Outside, thunder rumbled, the forecast storm finally arriving. Nathan offered drinks, moving to a sideboard containing crystal decanters. The room felt charged with unspoken evaluations. "Nathan tells me you've implemented several changes at the Kingsley." Evelyn's tone was conversational, but her gaze was assessing. "Quite ambitious for someone so new to management. The staff had good ideas that weren't being heard. I just created systems to implement them." Olivia accepted a sparkling water from Nathan, noting he'd remembered her preference without asking. "And before the Kingsley, what management experience prepared you for this role?" The question was a trap, and Olivia knew it. None professionally, but raising a child alone requires more management skills than most corporate positions. Nathan's cough might have disguised a laugh. Evelyn's expression remained neutral. "Your son is how old? Almost 4. His birthday is next week." "And his father?" Nathan interrupted. "Mother, that's hardly relevant to Olivia's work performance." "On the contrary, a person's choices and circumstances inform their professional judgment." Evelyn's gaze never left Olivia's face. "I'm curious about what brings a single mother to a position created specifically for her by my son." The accusation was clear. Olivia set down her glass. "Liam's father isn't involved in our lives. He made his choice when I told him I was pregnant. As for my position, I believe Nathan saw value in someone who understands both sides of the service equation. I've spent years being invisible to people with money and power. That perspective is apparently worth something to Azimuth Holdings, even if it doesn't impress you." A heavy silence fell, punctuated by another roll of thunder. Rain began pattering against the windows, mirroring the tension in the room. Unexpectedly, Evelyn smiled. "Direct, I appreciate that." She shifted in her chair, and for a moment the polished veneer slipped. "Did Nathan tell you I was once a waitress?" The revelation caught Olivia off guard. "No, he didn't. 4 different restaurants, sometimes simultaneously. After Nathan's father died, we had nothing. No insurance, no savings, just debts." Evelyn's gaze drifted to a photograph on the mantel, a much younger version of herself in a waitress uniform, holding a small boy with familiar blue eyes. "I worked serving breakfast at one place, lunch at another, dinner at a third, sometimes overnight shifts at a truck stop when bills were due." Nathan stood perfectly still and watching his mother with an expression Olivia couldn't decipher. This was clearly not the direction he had expected the conversation to take. Evelyn continued, "I put myself through business school while raising Nathan, graduated top of my class, started Mitchell Consulting from my kitchen table." Her attention returned to Olivia, sharper now. "So when my son creates a special position for a waitress with no management experience, you'll understand my concern." The implication hung in the air. Olivia felt heat rise in her cheeks, not from embarrassment, but indignation. "With respect, Mrs. Mitchell, if you're suggesting I manipulated your son into giving me this position, you're mistaken. I stood up to a rude customer who happened to be on a date with Nathan because it was the right thing to do. Everything since then has been based on my performance, not any personal connection." "Is that so?" Evelyn's eyebrow arched. "Nathan has always had a savior complex, fixing things, rescuing people. I wonder if your promotion was about your capabilities or his need to be the hero." Nathan's jaw tightened. "That's enough, Mother." "It's a fair question." Olivia met Evelyn's gaze steadily. "And one I asked myself. The difference is I've proven my value over the past month. The results speak for themselves." A housekeeper appeared in the doorway announcing dinner. The timing diffused the immediate tension, though the underlying current remained as they moved to the dining room. The storm outside intensified, rain lashing against windows and wind howling through ancient oaks on the property. The meal progressed with surface-level conversation about Azimuth Holdings' various enterprises. Olivia noted how Evelyn subtly tested her knowledge of business concepts, nodding slightly when Olivia demonstrated understanding of quarterly projections and market trends, remnants of her abandoned business degree courses. As dessert was served, Evelyn returned to more personal territory. "Nathan mentioned your son is interested in dinosaurs. a common fascination at that age. Olivia smiled on safer ground discussing Liam. He corrects museum guides about dinosaur classifications. It's equal parts embarrassing and impressive. Nathan was the same with space. Could name every NASA mission by age 4. Evelyn's expression softened momentarily. Children absorb knowledge when they're passionate about something. The trick is channeling that ability toward practical skills later. Or letting them follow their passions to see where they lead, Olivia countered gently, a luxury many don't have. Evelyn set down her dessert fork with precision. Nathan tells me you're residing in the Westview area, not the safest neighborhood for raising a child. Nathan interjected. Mother Olivia's living situation isn't... It's all right, Olivia interrupted. Westview has its challenges, but we have good neighbors. Mrs. Peterson watches Liam when I work late. The community center has affordable programs. We make it work. Until when, Evelyn pressed, what's your long-term plan for your son's education, for security, for opportunities? The questions hit a vulnerable spot. Olivia had asked herself the same things during sleepless nights. My plan started with securing stable employment with growth potential. The position at Azimuth is step 1. And step 2, business school management track. Evelyn's tone suggested these were the only acceptable answers. Perhaps, or developing the training program into something that could be implemented company-wide. Olivia paused, then added, not everyone measures success by the same metrics, Mrs. Mitchell. True, but certain metrics, financial security, educational opportunities, safe neighborhoods are universal necessities for children. Evelyn's gaze was penetrating. Nathan's position might make your current situation seem more promising than it is. Nathan's patience finally snapped. What exactly are you implying, Mother? Only that careers and romance often get complicated when power dynamics are involved. Evelyn smiled thinly. I'd hate to see anyone make decisions based on temporary circumstances. The accusation hung in the air, impossible to ignore. Olivia set down her napkin, keeping her voice steady despite the anger pulsing through her veins. Mrs. Mitchell, I appreciate your concern, misplaced as it is. I've never conflated my professional relationship with Nathan with anything else. My goals are simple: provide for my son, do meaningful work, and maintain my dignity in the process. If that doesn't fit your concept of ambition, I can't help that. Evelyn studied her with newfound interest. You misunderstand me, Ms. Hayes. I'm not questioning your ambition. I'm questioning whether my son's interest in your career is entirely professional. Nathan stood abruptly. Think we've had enough conversation for one evening. The storm's getting worse. Olivia should get home before roads flood. The exit was awkward but welcome. As Nathan walked Olivia to her car, the rain had temporarily subsided, leaving the air heavy with moisture and tension. I apologize for my mother. Nathan spoke quietly. She's protective to the point of interference. She built something from nothing. I understand wanting to protect it. Olivia clutched her purse strap tightly. But she's wrong about my intentions. I know that. Nathan stepped closer, raindrops glistening in his hair. What she doesn't understand is that you've earned everything you've achieved. No one gave you anything you didn't deserve. The sincerity in his voice made something shift between them, a recognition of mutual respect that went beyond professional boundaries. For a moment, Olivia thought he might say more, might acknowledge the undercurrent that had been building since that first night at the Kingsley. Instead, he stepped back. Drive safely. I'll see you Monday. As Olivia drove away, she glanced in her rearview mirror to see Nathan still standing in the driveway, a solitary figure framed by the imposing house behind him. For all his success and privilege, he suddenly seemed constrained by invisible chains of expectation and history. The following weeks brought a subtle shift in their interactions. Nathan began appearing at the Kingsley more frequently, often staying after inspections to talk with Olivia about operational improvements. Sometimes these conversations extended into dinner, and occasionally Liam joined them when childcare arrangements fell through. A casual observer might have called it friendship, but there was an unspoken awareness between them that it was evolving into something neither was ready to name. Spring arrived with cherry blossoms and warmer evenings. Nathan taught Liam about constellations one night when they stayed late at the restaurant, using salt and pepper shakers on the white tablecloth to map the stars. Olivia watched from the sidelines as her son giggled at Nathan's exaggerated stories about Greek mythology, noting how naturally they had developed their own relationship independent of her. One Saturday morning, Nathan appeared at Olivia's door unexpectedly, holding tickets to the Natural History Museum's new dinosaur exhibition. Liam's excitement overrode Olivia's hesitation about the increasingly blurred boundaries. They spent the day wandering among fossilized giants, Liam alternating between running ahead in excitement and returning to share facts with Nathan, who listened with genuine interest to every detail. During lunch at the museum cafe, Nathan's phone rang repeatedly until he finally excused himself to answer. When he returned, his expression was troubled. "Everything okay?" Olivia asked as Liam arranged French fries into dinosaur shapes. "My mother. She's asking questions about where I am, who I'm with." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "She means well, but she's been particularly protective since her stroke. She's afraid of losing you." Olivia understood the fear all too well, the terror of having your entire world dependent on a single relationship. "It's more than that," Nathan lowered his voice. "She's afraid of another Rebecca situation." "Rebecca," Nathan's expression closed slightly. "Someone from a few years ago. It didn't end well." He turned his attention to Liam's French fry stegosaurus, effectively ending the conversation. The mystery of Rebecca lingered in Olivia's mind as spring progressed. Nathan never mentioned the name again, but Olivia caught references in conversations with other Azimuth executives, oblique comments about that disaster or the Rebecca incident that suggested a significant business or personal catastrophe involving Nathan. Meanwhile, the broken clock in Olivia's kitchen, the one Liam's father had given her, suddenly worked again after Nathan noticed it during a rare visit to drop off training materials. He'd fixed it quietly while Olivia prepared coffee, neither of them acknowledging the symbolism of time starting to move forward again. These moments accumulated like stones in a garden path, leading somewhere neither had mapped. They were careful to maintain professional boundaries at work, but their personal lives increasingly overlapped in ways that felt both natural and precarious. Evelyn Mitchell watched from the sidelines, her recovery progressing enough for her to return home with in-house nursing care. Nathan's visits to the hospital became visits to the mansion, but the reports and conversations remained similar. Evelyn noticed the changes in her son, a lightness that had been absent for years, a tendency to check his phone more frequently, to mention casual observations about dinosaurs or children's museums that revealed where his thoughts often wandered. One evening, as Nathan prepared to leave after their regular financial discussion, Evelyn placed a hand on his arm. "Fix this situation before it becomes another Rebecca disaster." The words landed like stones. Nathan pulled away. "This is nothing like Rebecca. Isn't it someone from a different world? Someone who needs your help? Someone who makes you feel necessary?" Evelyn's voice was gentle, but her eyes were hard. "You have a pattern, Nathan. Find someone broken, fix them, then act surprised when they take advantage. Olivia is nothing like that. She's never asked me for anything. She doesn't have to ask. You offer before she can." Evelyn sighed. "I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to protect what we've built." Nathan left without responding, but the seed of doubt had been planted. He began examining his own motivations, questioning whether his interest in Olivia was genuine or another manifestation of his need to rescue, to fix, to be needed. As spring turned to early summer, Evelyn made a decision. If Nathan wouldn't protect himself, she would do it for him. She contacted Martin Graves, a private investigator who had worked for Mitchell Consulting on corporate matters for years. "I need information on an Olivia Hayes," Evelyn instructed from her study surrounded by the trappings of the empire she had built. "Thorough background, financial situation, personal history, particularly interested in the father of her child." Graves nodded, making notes. "The usual discretion applies, I assume." "Absolute secrecy. Nathan cannot know about this." Evelyn handed him a file with the basic information she already possessed. "I want to know exactly who this woman is before she gets any further into my son's life." The investigation took 2 weeks. When Graves returned, his findings were contained in a slim folder that he placed on Evelyn's desk with careful neutrality. "Everything's there. Financial records, employment history, personal background." He hesitated. "You might find the information about the child's father particularly interesting." Evelyn waited until she was alone before opening the file. The contents painted a familiar picture. Olivia Rose Hayes' community college education interrupted by pregnancy's series of service jobs, minimal savings mounting medical bills from her son's recurrent ear infections. The section on Liam's father made Evelyn pause. Richard Carrington, married investment banker, who had maintained a relationship with Olivia without disclosing his marital status. When she became pregnant, he had offered money for an abortion, then disappeared when she refused. The parallels to Evelyn's own past were uncomfortable. She had been a young waitress when she met Nathan's father, Jonathan Mitchell, a struggling entrepreneur with big dreams and bigger debts. When he died suddenly of a heart attack, leaving her with a 6-year-old son and creditors calling daily, she had discovered just how precarious their situation was. No one had rescued Evelyn Mitchell. She had clawed her way to success through sheer determination and ruthless focus. But there was one significant difference between her story and Olivia's. Evelyn had been married, had believed in Jonathan's dreams, had been a partner in his ambitions. According to the investigator's report, Olivia had been deceived by a wealthy married man who abandoned her at the first sign of responsibility. The pattern seemed eerily similar to what had happened with Rebecca James, the investment analyst Nathan had nearly married 3 years earlier. Rebecca had seemed perfect, brilliant, ambitious, from a good family. But she had been using Nathan to gain access to Azimuth's investment strategies, funneling information to competitors while spending Nathan's money lavishly. The scandal had nearly derailed a major acquisition and had left Nathan withdrawn and focused solely on work until Olivia Hayes had appeared. Evelyn closed the file. Decision made. She would meet with Olivia privately, present the findings, and make her an offer. Everyone had a price. The question was simply how much it would take to remove Olivia from Nathan's life before history repeated itself. The meeting was arranged at Constantine's, an exclusive restaurant where privacy was guaranteed for the right price. Olivia arrived precisely on time, surprise evident on her face when she found Evelyn alone at the table. "Thank you for coming, Ms. Hayes. Please sit." Evelyn gestured to the chair opposite of her. Light rain tapped against the windows, a counterpoint to the tension building between them. Olivia sat, caution in every movement. "Mrs. Mitchell, I was expecting Nathan to be here. This conversation is best had between us directly." Evelyn signaled the waiter, who poured water with practiced discretion. "I'll be direct. I'm concerned about your relationship with my son. We have a professional relationship, as I've explained before. We both know it's evolved beyond that." Evelyn removed the folder from her handbag, placing it on the table between them. "I had you investigated, Ms. Hayes." Olivia's face paled, then flushed with anger. "You had no right." "I have every right to protect my son and our company." Evelyn tapped the folder. "Richard Carrington, investment banker with Meridian Group, married with 2 children when he began seeing you. He offered you $50,000 to terminate your pregnancy." The shock on Olivia's face confirmed the accuracy of the information. "How did you—" "That's not important. What matters is the pattern." Evelyn leaned forward. "You have a history with wealthy, established men. Nathan is vulnerable to people who need saving. It's a dangerous combination." Olivia's hands trembled slightly, but her voice remained steady. "You've constructed a narrative that fits your preconceptions, Mrs. Mitchell. Yes, Richard lied to me. Yes, he offered money to solve the problem. But I rejected it because some things aren't for sale, including my dignity and my child's life." "Admirable," Evelyn acknowledged. "But it doesn't change the reality of your situation. Single mother, modest income, even with the promotion, living in a neighborhood where break-ins have increased 20% this year." She removed an envelope from her bag, sliding it across the table. "I'm prepared to offer you a better option." Olivia didn't touch the envelope. "What exactly are you offering?" $250,000, enough for a down payment on a home in a better school district, college fund for your son, breathing room to finish your degree." Evelyn's voice was matter of fact. "In exchange, you resign from Azimuth and maintain no personal contact with Nathan." The restaurant seemed to fade around them, the ambient noise receding as Olivia processed the offer. Rain fell harder outside, streaking the windows and blurring the world beyond. "You think money solves everything because you remember what it's like to have none?" Olivia finally said, each word precise and controlled. "But I'd rather have nothing than sell my dignity. Again. This isn't about dignity, it's about practicality." Evelyn pushed the envelope closer. "Nathan goes through phases of wanting to rescue people. When the novelty wears off, or when responsibilities intrude, he moves on. I'm offering you security before that happens. You don't know your son as well as you think you do. Olivia stood gathering her purse. He's not some capricious savior looking for projects. He's a man trying to create meaning beyond spreadsheets and acquisitions. And he deserves better than having his mother meddle in his personal life. Sit down, Ms. Hayes, we're not finished. We are. Keep your money and your investigations. I won't be intimidated or bought. Olivia turned to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I've never asked Nathan for anything beyond professional guidance. Whatever you think is happening between us has been mutual and based on genuine connection, not financial opportunity. As she moved toward the exit, the restaurant door opened. Nathan stood there, rain-damp and clearly surprised to see Olivia. Olivia, what are you doing here? His gaze shifted between her and his mother, confusion giving way to suspicion. Mother, what's going on? The moment crystallized in horrible clarity. Olivia realized how it appeared, the private meeting, the envelope of money still on the table, her hasty departure. Before she could explain, Evelyn spoke. Nathan, this isn't what it looks like. I asked Olivia to meet me to discuss buying me off, Olivia interrupted, unable to let the lie form. Your mother investigated my past and offered me money to leave Azimuth. And you. Nathan's expression hardened as he turned to Evelyn. You did what? Evelyn remained composed. I did what was necessary to protect you. After Rebecca, this has nothing to do with Rebecca. Nathan's voice cut like ice. You had no right to interfere. I had every right. I built this company, this legacy. I won't watch you risk it again on someone who what? Mother, who wasn't born into privilege, who works for a living, who reminds you too much of who you used to be. Nathan's control was slipping. Years of deference cracking under the weight of this betrayal. Olivia moved toward the door. I should go. This is between you two. Wait, please. Nathan reached for her arm, then stopped himself. What did she offer you? It doesn't matter. I didn't take it. Olivia couldn't meet his eyes, humiliation burning through her. I need to get home to Liam. Olivia, whatever she said, just let me go, Nathan, please. She pushed past him into the rain, not waiting for a response. The downpour soaked her immediately as she walked to her car, tears mixing with raindrops on her face. Behind her, she could hear Nathan's raised voice continuing the confrontation with his mother, but the words were lost in the storm. That night, after tucking Liam into bed, Olivia drafted her resignation letter. The position that had seemed like such an opportunity now felt tainted by Evelyn's suspicions and Nathan's family drama. She had worked too hard rebuilding her life after Richard's betrayal to become entangled in another complicated situation. Her phone buzzed repeatedly with messages from Nathan, each one more urgent than the last. She finally turned it off, unable to formulate a response that wouldn't make the situation worse. The next morning, Olivia dropped her resignation letter on Thomas's desk before regular business hours, avoiding the staff she had come to care about. As she walked through the dining room one last time, memories flashed through her mind, defending Nathan that first night, mediating staff conflicts, Liam coloring at a corner table while she conducted training, Nathan teaching her son about constellations using salt shakers as stars. So you're just leaving? James stood in the doorway to the kitchen, arms crossed. The once hostile senior waiter had become an unlikely ally over the past months. It's complicated. Olivia couldn't bring herself to explain. Usually is. James stepped forward. The staff was planning a surprise for your kid's birthday tomorrow. Dinosaur cake decorations, the works. Nathan ordered a custom fire truck toy with real sirens. He shrugged. Thought you should know what you're walking away from. The information struck like a physical blow. I didn't ask for any of that. Nobody said you did, but good things don't always come because you ask for them. James turned back toward the kitchen. Sometimes they come because you deserve them. Olivia left without responding, the weight of unfinished business settling on her shoulders like the continuing rain. At home, she removed Nathan's business card from her wallet, running her thumb over the handwritten note about dinosaur emergencies. With deliberate finality, she dropped it into the trash. Her phone remained off. The wall clock fixed by Nathan months ago ticked loudly in the empty apartment, counting down minutes of a life suddenly redirected. Again. That evening, as Liam slept and Olivia packed away her Azimuth Holdings training materials, a knock sounded at her door. She knew who it was before she checked the peephole. Nathan stood in the hallway, soaked from the ongoing storm determination etched on his face. Olivia opened the door, but blocked the entrance. I resigned. It's done. I know, I didn't come about the job. Nathan pushed wet hair from his forehead. I came to apologize for my mother's inexcusable behavior. It's not your apology to make. Please just hear me out. His customary composure was absent, replaced by raw emotion. What my mother did investigating you offering money, it was wrong on every level. I've made that abundantly clear to her. It doesn't matter now. Olivia wrapped her arms around herself. This situation has become too complicated. I need stability for Liam, not drama. I understand that, but walking away isn't the answer. Nathan stepped closer still in the hallway. Olivia, what's been developing between us isn't just professional friendship. You know that. The directness of his statement hung between them, finally acknowledging what they'd both been circling for months. Whatever it is, it's not worth the complications. Olivia forced herself to maintain eye contact despite the ache building in her chest. Your mother will never accept me. The staff will always wonder if I earned my position. And eventually you'll realize I'm not a project you can fix. Is that what you think this is, that I see you as broken, as a charity case? Hurt flashed across Nathan's features. I've built a fortune helping businesses succeed, but you've built something I never had, a real home. A place where people are valued for who they are, not what they produce. The sincerity in his voice nearly cracked her resolve. Nathan, please, this isn't fair to either of us. What's not fair is letting my mother's paranoia destroy something meaningful before it has a chance to grow. He reached for her hand, but she stepped back. I need to think about Liam first. He's already attached to you. If we continue whatever this is and it ends badly, he's the one who gets hurt worst. Olivia's voice broke slightly. I can't risk that. Nathan's shoulders slumped, defeat replacing determination. I understand, but know this, my interest in you has never been about rescuing or fixing. It's been about recognizing something rare, someone who stands up for what's right regardless of consequence. He turned to leave, then paused. The birthday party the staff planned for Liam is still happening tomorrow. 4 o'clock at the Kingsley. I won't be there if that makes it easier for you to come. But he deserves to celebrate with people who care about him. After he left, Olivia closed the door and leaned against it, tears finally breaking free. The wall clock ticked steadily, the sound amplified in the silence. She crossed the room and stopped it, unable to bear the reminder of time moving forward when everything else felt suspended in uncertainty. After Nathan left, Olivia couldn't sleep. She spent the night weighing her options. Despite the hurt and complications, one simple truth remained: Liam deserved a special birthday. Whatever her personal feelings toward Nathan, she couldn't let adult problems rob her son of joy. The next morning, with renewed determination, she woke Liam with a smile. That dinosaur party is still waiting for us, little man. The Kingsley had transformed. Blue and green streamers cascaded from light fixtures, dinosaur cutouts adorned walls, and a corner of the dining room featured a makeshift excavation site filled with hidden plastic fossils. Staff members wore party hats with pterodactyl wings attached, moving among balloon bouquets with practiced efficiency. The cake, a 3-tiered masterpiece with fondant dinosaurs, waited in the kitchen. 4 o'clock arrived, then 4:15, 4:30. James checked his watch, glancing toward the entrance. Maybe they're not coming. She'll be here, Thomas replied, though uncertainty laced his voice. She wouldn't disappoint her son. Outside, clouds gathered again, the brief respite from rain ending as spring storms resumed their pattern. Staff members exchanged worried looks as the clock approached, 5 children of other employees already diving into the excavation pit while the guest of honor remained absent. At 5:15, the door finally opened. Olivia entered, holding Liam's hand. The boy's eyes widened at the decoration's mouth, forming a perfect O of amazement. Olivia's expression was more complicated: surprise, guilt, gratitude, all swirling beneath the surface of careful composure. Dinosaurs! Liam broke free, running toward the nearest display. Mommy, look, it's a Stegosaurus party. The staff converged, offering belated birthday wishes and dinosaur facts they'd memorized specifically for this occasion. James approached Olivia, hands in his pockets. Didn't think you'd come. Olivia's eyes scanned the room, noting the elaborate preparations. I almost didn't. This is a lot. Mitchell ordered most of it weeks ago, said every kid deserves one magical birthday. James shrugged. For what it's worth, he kept his word. He's not here. Relief and disappointment battled across Olivia's features. Thank you all for doing this, especially after I left so abruptly. We don't abandon family just because things get complicated. James gestured toward Liam, now wearing a dinosaur hat and roaring enthusiastically. Besides, the kid earned his party. He's been teaching us dinosaur facts for months. Liam's joy was contagious. Olivia gradually relaxed as the celebration continued, allowing herself to enjoy the moment despite the bittersweet undercurrent. The cake appeared to thunderous applause, candles flickering in the dim light. Liam closed his eyes tight before blowing face scrunched in concentration over his wish. After cake came presents, books, dinosaur figures, art supplies from the staff. Liam opened each with exuberant gratitude, his happiness unfiltered and pure. Then Thomas wheeled in one final gift, larger than the others, wrapped in shiny red paper. This one's special, buddy. Thomas knelt beside Liam. Someone who couldn't be here wanted to make sure you got it. Liam tore into the paper, revealing the fire truck he'd coveted for months, not just any model, but a deluxe version with working sirens, flashing lights, and a ladder that extended fully. His expression transcended joy, reaching something close to reverence. It's from Santa, Liam whispered, eyes wide. Olivia knelt beside him, throat tight. It's not Christmas yet, buddy. But I told Mr. Nathan that sometimes Santa brings birthday presents if you're really good. Liam examined the truck with careful fingers. And I've been the best. The innocent connection pierced Olivia's careful defenses. She looked up at Thomas, question unspoken. Mitchell ordered it custom-made, Thomas confirmed quietly. Said something about promised sirens and lights that actually work. Liam activated the siren, its wail drawing delighted squeals from the other children. Olivia watched her son's happiness, feeling the weight of Nathan's absence, his deliberate choice to give Liam this moment without complications. The party continued until early evening when thunderclouds finally delivered their threat. As rain pounded against windows, Olivia helped staff clean up while Liam showed his truck to Mrs. Peterson, who had arrived to drive them home. Will you come back to work with us? A server asked as they folded tablecloths. It's not the same without you. I can't, Olivia replied, the decision solidifying even as she spoke it. But thank you for everything today. This meant more than you know. Mrs. Peterson drove them home through torrential rain, Liam clutching his fire truck and in the back seat, occasionally pressing the siren button, just to reassure himself it still worked. At home, Olivia tucked an exhausted but happy Liam into bed, his new treasures arranged carefully on his nightstand. Best birthday ever, he murmured, eyes already closing. Did you see my truck? It's just like I wanted. I saw Buddy, Olivia smoothed his hair. You must have been really good for Santa to bring a birthday present. Not Santa, Liam yawned. Mr. Nathan, he promised. His breathing deepened as sleep claimed him, innocent certainty untouched by adult complications. Olivia sat beside him long after he fell asleep, watching the rise and fall of his chest, contemplating the simple clarity of a child's understanding. In Liam's world, promises were kept, kindness was given freely, and people who cared about you remained in your life. The adult world, with its tangled motivations and historical baggage, seemed needlessly complex by comparison. Rain continued through the night, a steady percussion against windows. Olivia lay awake, replaying the past months. Nathan fixing the broken clock, teaching Liam about stars, creating a position that valued her perspective, respecting her boundaries enough to absent himself from the birthday celebration he had arranged. By morning, her decision was made. She would call Nathan, thank him properly for Liam's gift, and suggest they talk. Adults could learn from children. Sometimes it's about forgiveness, about moving forward, about accepting kindness without suspicion. But life rarely accommodates neat narrative arcs. When Olivia turned on her phone, intending to call Nathan, she found breaking news alerts instead. Azimuth Holdings CEO collapses during board meeting. Nathan Mitchell hospitalized in critical condition. Financial titan felled by exhaustion and pneumonia. Panic surged through her veins. She called the hospital immediately, only to be told that information was restricted to family members. Her next call was to the Kingsley, where Thomas confirmed the rumors Nathan had collapsed yesterday during a contentious board meeting after working around the clock following a falling out with his mother. They're saying exhaustion, dehydration, and walking pneumonia, Thomas explained. He's been pushing himself too hard for weeks. Olivia's mind raced. Is there anything I can do? Anyone I can call? His mother's handling everything. The family's closed ranks, typical Mitchell response to crisis. The irony wasn't lost on Olivia. Just as she'd decided to reach out, circumstances had erected new barriers between them. She spent the day in limbo, checking news updates and fighting the urge to go to the hospital despite knowing she would be turned away. That evening, as Olivia prepared Liam's dinner, a knock at the door startled her. She opened it to find Evelyn Mitchell standing in the hallway, leaning slightly on an elegant cane, her usual imperial bearing diminished by evident exhaustion. Mrs. Mitchell. Olivia stepped back in surprise. I heard about Nathan. Is he stable but serious? Evelyn's voice was rough-edged, the Polish worn thin by worry. May I come in? Olivia hesitated, then nodded, moving aside. Evelyn entered the apartment, her assessing gaze taking in the modest furnishings, the dinosaur drawings taped to the refrigerator, the school photos of Liam, the birthday cards displayed on a shelf. Her attention lingered on the wall clock, now working again, before returning to Olivia. I didn't come to continue our previous conversation, Evelyn began. I came because my son needs help. Whatever I can do, Olivia replied automatically. He's asking for you. Oh. In his delirium, he keeps saying your name. The doctors say familiar voices sometimes help patients in his condition. Evelyn's composure slipped slightly. I don't like asking for assistance, Ms. Hayes, but I dislike the thought of losing my son even more. The vulnerability in this formidable woman's request stripped away pretense. Olivia nodded. Let me arrange for Mrs. Peterson to watch Liam. I can be there in an hour. Relief softened Evelyn's features momentarily. Thank you. I'll send a car. After Evelyn left, Olivia called Mrs. Peterson, who arrived promptly full of questions about the sudden emergency. Liam was disappointed to miss bedtime stories, but was placated by the promise of dinosaur pancakes in the morning. The car Evelyn sent was a discreet black sedan rather than a flashy limousine, practical luxury rather than ostentation. The hospital quarters were hushed, late evening visiting hours winding down. Evelyn awaited Olivia near the elevators, leading her through security checkpoints, where the Mitchell name opened doors without question. They rode the elevator in silence, the weight of their complicated history suspended by mutual concern for Nathan. The pneumonia developed rapidly, Evelyn explained as they approached the private room, combined with extreme exhaustion and dehydration. He's been working 20-hour days since our disagreement. Guilt flickered across Evelyn's face, a humanizing crack in her polished veneer. Before Olivia could respond, they reached Nathan's room. Through the glass partition, she could see him lying still among machines and monitors, oxygen tubes, and IV lines, connecting him to medical lifelines. He looked smaller somehow, vulnerable in ways his tailored suits and executive authority had never permitted. A doctor emerged from the room, nodding respectfully to Evelyn. His fever's down slightly. That's promising. This is Olivia Hayes, Evelyn introduced, the person my son has been asking for. The doctor nodded. Familiar voices can help. Keep it brief for now, though. He needs rest more than anything. Inside the room, the beeping of monitors created a mechanical rhythm that underscored the seriousness of Nathan's condition. Olivia approached the bed cautiously, shocked by his pallor and the dark circles beneath his eyes. His breathing seemed labored despite the oxygen support. Nathan, she touched his hand gently. It's Olivia. His eyelids fluttered but didn't open. Olivia glanced back at Evelyn, who stood in the doorway, face drawn with worry. When she looked back, Nathan's eyes were open, unfocused at first, then clearing as they found her face. You came, he whispered, voice raspy from disuse. Of course I did. Olivia squeezed his hand. You shouldn't talk. You need to rest. A ghost of his usual smile touched his lips. Been resting. For days, apparently. His gaze moved past her to Evelyn. Mother, you brought her. Evelyn stepped forward. I did what was necessary. Something passed between mother and son, an acknowledgement perhaps, forgiveness, maybe simply recognition of priorities reordered by crisis. Nathan's eyes returned to Olivia. Liam's birthday, did he like the fire truck? He loves it. It hasn't left his side. Olivia smiled. He said you promised him the sirens would really work. A promise. is a promise. Nathan's eyelids grew heavy again. Sorry I missed the party. You'll see him soon, when you're better. Olivia found herself making a promise of her own, one she hadn't planned, but felt right nonetheless. Nathan nodded slightly, drifting back towards sleep. The doctor returned, indicating they should let him rest. In the hallway outside, Evelyn and Olivia stood in awkward silence, their mutual concern for Nathan creating an uneasy alliance. The car will take you home, Evelyn finally said. Thank you for coming. Olivia hesitated. Will you call if anything changes, if he needs anything? Something shifted in Evelyn's assessment. Yes, I believe I will. The following days established a pattern. Olivia would spend days with Liam, then evenings at the hospital while Mrs. Peterson watched her son. Nathan's condition improved gradually, fever breaking, breathing easing, strength returning incrementally. By the fourth day, he was sitting up, eating small amounts, and having brief conversations before fatigue claimed him again. Evelyn remained a constant presence, managing business crises remotely while maintaining her vigil. She and Olivia developed an unspoken schedule, allowing each other time alone with Nathan while avoiding direct interaction. The truce was fragile but functional, built on mutual recognition of who mattered most. On the fifth evening, Olivia arrived to find Nathan's room empty, monitors disconnected, bed stripped. Panic flooded her system until a nurse explained he had been moved to a step-down unit, a positive sign of recovery. Following directions to the new room, Olivia found Nathan sitting in a chair by the window, looking thinner but significantly more alert. The prodigal CEO returns to the land of the living, he greeted, her voice stronger than it had been. Olivia set down her bag, relief washing through her. You look better. Pneumonia apparently isn't compatible with board meetings. Doctor's orders are strict rest for at least 2 more weeks. He gestured to the chair beside him. Mother's arranging my release tomorrow. Home health nurses the works. That's good news. Olivia sat suddenly uncertain. Their conversations during his illness had been brief, focused on his recovery rather than the complications between them. Now, with improvement evident, unresolved questions resurfaced. Nathan studied her face. I've had a lot of time to think lying here. He gazed out the window at the city skyline, buildings glinting in the setting sun. When you can't do anything, you start to see what actually matters. And what's that? Not acquisitions, not quarterly reports. His eyes returned to her. People, connections, the things that make life worth the work. The simplicity of his revelation hung between them, obvious perhaps, but no less profound for having been earned through illness and enforced stillness. Olivia nodded, understanding. Liam keeps asking about you. He wants to show you his fire truck in action. I'd like that. Nathan shifted, wincing slightly at residual discomfort. Olivia, about what happened with my mother. We don't need to talk about that now. You're still recovering. No, we do. His voice strengthened with conviction. Because I won't make the mistake of leaving things unsaid again. Life's too unpredictable for that luxury. Something in his tone, a new clarity perhaps, held Olivia silent, waiting. My mother was wrong to investigate you, wrong to offer you money, wrong to interfere. But she wasn't wrong about everything. Nathan leaned forward slightly. I do have a pattern of trying to fix situations, of being drawn to people who need help. It's something I've done since my father died, and I couldn't fix that situation, couldn't help my mother through her grief except by being perfect, by solving problems. The self-awareness surprised Olivia. Nathan, please let me finish, because this is important. He took a breath. What my mother doesn't understand, what I didn't fully understand until I was lying here with nothing but my thoughts, is that with you, it's different. I wasn't trying to fix you or rescue you. You didn't need that. What did I need then? Nothing from me. That's what makes it real. A smile touched his lips. You stood up for a stranger in a restaurant because it was right, not because you expected anything. You took the management position because you earned it, not because you needed saving. You walked away when your dignity required it, even though staying would have been easier financially. The assessment was so accurate, it momentarily stole Olivia's response. Nathan continued, voice gaining strength with each word. My mother built herself from nothing, fought for everything she achieved. She sees that same strength in you, and it terrifies her because she recognizes how rare and valuable it is. She's afraid I'll depend on that strength rather than developing my own. Is she right? Olivia asked quietly. Partly, but what she doesn't see is that strength can be mutual without being depleting. Nathan reached for Olivia's hand. You make me stronger by showing me what matters. I hope I can offer something similar in return. The moment felt pivotal, a door opening to possibilities that had seemed foreclosed days earlier. Before Olivia could respond, a nurse entered to check Nathan's vital signs, breaking the intimate atmosphere. By the time the medical necessities were completed, evening visiting hours were ending. Think about what I said, Nathan asked as she gathered her things to leave. We can talk more after I'm discharged. Olivia nodded. Get some rest. Doctor's orders. The following week brought transitions. Nathan returned home to his penthouse apartment, attended by home health nurses and a revolving door of executives seeking guidance despite medical instructions to limit work. Olivia returned to job hunting, her resignation from the Kingsley now seeming hasty in light of recent developments. They spoke by phone, daily conversations ranging from Liam's latest dinosaur facts to Nathan's frustration with recovery limitations. The ease between them returned, deepened perhaps by the clarity illness often brings. Still, they didn't discuss what might come next, both seeming to understand that some conversations required physical presence. 10 days after his discharge, Nathan called with a request. My home health nurse is leaving tomorrow. Doctor says I'm recovered enough not to need round-the-clock care, but I'm still supposed to take it easy. Would you and Liam consider coming over this weekend? Nothing fancy, just lunch and maybe a movie Liam would enjoy. The invitation felt significant, not a restaurant meeting, not a work function, but entry into his personal space. Olivia agreed, curious about this aspect of Nathan's life she hadn't yet seen. Saturday arrived, sunny and mild, spring storms finally yielding to early summer warmth. Nathan's building was expectedly elegant, a modern glass tower in the financial district with uniformed doormen and a private elevator to upper floors. Liam bounced with excitement in the ascending elevator, fire truck clutched tightly. Does Mr. Nathan have dinosaurs at his house? He asked for the dozenth time. I don't know, buddy. We'll have to see. Olivia smoothed his hair, her own curiosity about Nathan's private space almost matching her son's. The elevator opened directly into a penthouse foyer. Nathan waited there, still thinner than before his illness, but standing straight, color returned to his face. He wore casual clothes, jeans, and a soft button-down that made him appear younger, less formal than his corporate persona. Welcome to my humble abode, he greeted them with a self-deprecating smile that acknowledged the obvious luxury surrounding them. Liam broke free from Olivia's hand, racing toward Nathan with unrestrained enthusiasm. Mr. Nathan, look at my truck. The sirens work just like you promised. Nathan crouched to Liam's level, examining the toy with appropriate seriousness. That's fantastic engineering. Santa must have known exactly what you wanted. I told him you helped Santa. Liam activated the siren, its wail echoing through the expansive space. Can I see your dinosaurs now? Nathan glanced up at Olivia, amusement dancing in his eyes. Well, I don't have as many as you, but I did prepare something special. Want to see? Liam nodded vigorously. Nathan led them through the penthouse, a study in modern minimalism with spectacular city views, expensive art, and surprisingly few personal touches. The space felt curated rather than lived in, more showroom than home. In here, Nathan opened a door to reveal what was clearly a home office transformed by the addition of a miniature city built from blocks, complete with tiny buildings, roads, and crucially dinosaur figurines positioned throughout. Dinosaur City. Liam gasped, eyes widening. Can I play with it? That's why I built it. Nathan gestured to the elaborate creation. These dinosaurs need someone who knows all about them to tell their story. Liam needed no further invitation, diving into the constructed world with immediate imagination. Olivia watched in amazement as Nathan joined him on the floor. Their heads bent together as Liam explained which dinosaurs could be friends and which were natural enemies. You built this for him? Olivia asked quietly. Nathan looked up, something vulnerable in his expression. I had some time on my hands during recovery. Figured blocks and dinosaurs beat staring at the ceiling. The thoughtfulness behind the gesture, not just purchasing a toy, but creating an entire world for Liam's imagination, spoke volumes. Olivia observed their interaction, noting how naturally Nathan engaged with her son, how genuinely he listened to Liam's elaborate dinosaur scenarios. After Liam was thoroughly immersed in play, Nathan gave Olivia a tour of the penthouse. The contrast between his luxury apartment and her modest home was stark, yet he moved through the space with a curious detachment. "It doesn't really feel like you," Olivia observed as they reached the kitchen where lunch preparations awaited. "That's because it isn't." Nathan leaned against the counter. "A decorator designed it when I moved in after the divorce. I never bothered changing anything." "Divorce?" The word slipped out before Olivia could stop it. "Brief marriage right after business school. Ended amicably but quickly." Nathan shrugged. "We wanted different things. Rebecca came later. That was the relationship my mother mentioned. Not a marriage, but serious enough that the betrayal hit hard." "Rebecca James," Olivia said softly, recalling snippets of conversation she'd overheard at Azimuth. "The investment analyst." Nathan looked surprised. "You know about her?" "Only rumors. Something about corporate espionage. She used our relationship to access confidential investment strategies, sold information to competitors." His voice was matter-of-fact, but old pain lingered beneath. "Nearly destroyed a major acquisition. My mother had warned me she was too perfect, too interested in my work. I should have listened." The casual revelation of his past relationships created context for Evelyn's protectiveness. "I'm sorry." Ancient history. Nathan began assembling sandwiches with practiced efficiency. "The point is, this place never felt like home, just somewhere to sleep between workdays." They ate lunch at the kitchen island while Liam continued his dinosaur adventures, occasionally running over to provide updates on the prehistoric drama unfolding in the office. The domesticity of the scene belied the luxury surroundings, just a man, a woman, and a child sharing a meal and conversation. After lunch, they settled in the living room for a dinosaur documentary Nathan had selected specifically for Liam. The boy nestled between them on the sofa, offering expert commentary that often contradicted the narrator, much to Nathan's amusement. By the film's midpoint, Liam had fallen asleep, head resting against Nathan's arm. "He trusts you," Olivia observed quietly. "That doesn't come easily. Kids know when they're truly being seen." Nathan gently adjusted Liam's position, something adults often forget how to recognize. They sat in comfortable silence, the documentary continuing on mute, Liam's steady breathing creating a peaceful rhythm between them. The moment felt precious in its ordinary intimacy, a glimpse of what might be possible. "I've been thinking about what you said at the hospital," Olivia finally spoke, "about strength being mutual rather than depleting." Nathan nodded. "It's what my mother never understood about relationships. She sees them as transactions, what you give versus what you take. But the best connections are more like ecosystems, each person contributing and receiving in different ways that create something greater than the sum of parts." "That's a beautiful way to think about it." Olivia's gaze dropped to Liam. "But when you have a child, the equation changes. His needs have to come first." "I would never want otherwise." Nathan's voice was soft but certain. "Liam is part of who you are. That's not a complication, it's essential." The sincerity in his words touched something deep within Olivia, the fear that had lingered since Richard's rejection, that her status as a mother would always make her less desirable, too complicated for real partnership. "What are you suggesting, Nathan, beyond this afternoon, beyond friendship? What do you want? Everything." The simplicity of his answer took her breath away. "Not tomorrow, not in some grand dramatic gesture, but eventually, step by step, building something real together." The moment hung between them, possibility, crystallizing into tangible hope. Before Olivia could respond, Liam stirred, rubbing his eyes as he woke from his nap. "Did the dinosaurs win?" he asked groggily. Nathan smiled. "They always do, buddy." The remainder of the afternoon passed in easy companionship. As evening approached, Nathan walked them to the elevator, Liam chattering about when they could return to Dinosaur City. "Soon, I hope," Nathan replied, looking to Olivia for confirmation. "We'll see." Her non-committal response wasn't rejection, merely caution, the protective instinct of a mother who needed certainty before proceeding. Nathan understood. "Take whatever time you need. I'll be here." As the elevator doors closed, Liam waved enthusiastically. "Bye, Mr. Nathan. I'll bring more dinosaurs next time." The assumption of next time hung in the air during their journey home. Liam fell asleep in the taxi, leaving Olivia alone with her thoughts. Nathan's words echoed in her mind everything, the scope of it both thrilling and terrifying. After Richard's betrayal, after years of self-sufficient survival, The prospect of truly opening her life to someone else required a leap of faith she wasn't sure she could make. At home with Liam, tucked into bed, surrounded by dinosaurs and his precious fire truck, Olivia sat on her small balcony, watching stars emerge in the clearing sky. The familiar sounds of her neighborhood distant traffic neighbors' music children calling to each other in the courtyard created the soundtrack of the life she had built for herself and Liam. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, secure in its limitations and possibilities. The wall clock ticked steadily inside marking time, moving forward. Nathan had fixed it months ago, a small gesture that suddenly seemed symbolic of larger repairs possible in a life she had thought permanently damaged. Her phone chimed with a message from Nathan. Thank you for today. No pressure, no expectations, just gratitude. The simplicity of it, the space he was giving her to decide confirmed what she already knew in her heart. This wasn't like Richard, wasn't like any relationship she had known before. This was something built on mutual respect, on seeing each other clearly, on acceptance rather than expectation. Decision made, Olivia called Mrs. Peterson to arrange childcare for the following day. Then she called Nathan. Can we talk tomorrow? Just us? Her voice was steady, certain. Of course. Name the time and place. The Kingsley, where it all started. Noon. The restaurant was quiet when Olivia arrived the next day, the Sunday lunch crowd still sparse. Nathan waited at table 9 by the window where they had first met months earlier. He stood when he saw her, hope and uncertainty battling in his expression. Olivia sat across from him, gathering her thoughts. I've been thinking about ecosystems. A smile touched his lips. Have you? Yes. About how they require balance, proper conditions, time to develop. She met his gaze directly. I can't promise everything all at once. Liam and I come as a package, and his stability has to be my priority. I understand that. I wouldn't want it any other way. But, Olivia continued, I believe in what's growing between us. I want to see where it leads step by step with eyes open and expectations clear. Relief and joy transformed Nathan's features. That's all I'm asking for. A chance to build something real. Something lasting. There will be complications. Your mother is learning to respect boundaries. Slowly. Nathan reached across the table for her hand. She'll come around when she sees what I already know, that you're extraordinary, not because you need saving, but because you never did. The moment felt significant, not an ending, but a beginning, a door opening to possibilities neither had imagined when they first encountered each other in this same spot. Outside, sunlight broke through clouds, casting golden patterns across the table between them. So where do we start? Olivia asked. Dinner, all three of us, tomorrow night, Nathan suggested. I promised Liam I'd learn more dinosaur facts before our next meeting. I've been studying. The image of Nathan Mitchell, CEO of Azimuth Holdings, memorizing dinosaur species for a 3-year-old boy filled Olivia with unexpected tenderness. He'll quiz you relentlessly. I'm counting on it. Nothing worth having comes without effort. Their conversation continued through lunch, making plans tentative enough to honor caution, but concrete enough to affirm commitment. As they prepared to leave, James approached their table, barely concealing his satisfaction at seeing them together. Nice to see some people can work things out, he observed with minimal subtlety. The staff will be pleased. Is that your way of asking if I'm coming back? Olivia raised an eyebrow. The training program's falling apart without you. James shrugged. Just saying. Nathan watched the exchange with interest. The position is still open. No pressure, but Azimuth could use your perspective. On your terms, of course. The offer hung between them, not a condition of their personal relationship, but an acknowledgement of her professional value. Olivia considered it, weighing independence against opportunity. I'll think about it, but if I come back, it would be because I've earned the role, not because of any personal connection. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nathan's respect was evident in his tone. The company needs your talent. What happens between us is separate. The distinction mattered: professional recognition, independent of personal feelings. It was Olivia realized exactly what she had always wanted: to be valued for her abilities rather than her circumstances or connections. They parted outside in the restaurant with plans set for the following evening. As Nathan walked toward his car, Olivia called after him. Nathan, thank you for the fire truck. The sirens really do work. He turned back, the smile reaching his eyes. A promise is a promise. Some things are non-negotiable. The simple statement contained multitudes an affirmation of integrity, a commitment to reliability, a foundation upon which trust could be built. Olivia watched him drive away, certainty settling within her that whatever came next would be worth the risk. The following weeks brought a rhythmic dance of discovering each other's lives. Nathan made space in his busy schedule for dinosaur museum trips and playground adventures. Olivia returned to the Kingsley with clear boundaries between her professional and personal connections to Nathan. Liam blossomed in the expanded circle of care, his vocabulary growing to include words like board meeting and quarterly report, though he often confused them with dinosaur terms. Evelyn Mitchell maintained a cautious distance, neither interfering nor embracing the relationship. But small gestures, a children's book on dinosaurs delivered to Liam, a brief conversation with Olivia about business school options suggested a thawing of her opposition. By early summer, Nathan had become a fixture in their lives. He kept a drawer of his things at Olivia's apartment and dinosaur-shaped cookie cutters in his penthouse kitchen. Liam referred to him simply as our Nathan, a designation that carried profound meaning in its casual possessiveness. One evening in May, during a quiet dinner at Olivia's apartment, after Liam had gone to bed, Nathan brought out a small velvet box. "This isn't what you think," he said, quickly noting Olivia's widened eyes. "Well, not exactly." Inside lay a simple silver key. "It's to my penthouse. No pressure, no expectations. Just whenever you're ready." Olivia closed the box gently. "I appreciate the gesture, but we're not there yet." Rather than disappointment, understanding filled Nathan's expression. "I know. I just wanted you to know the door is open when the time is right." The next weekend, Olivia handed Nathan a key to her apartment, not with grand ceremony, but casually as they organized a picnic basket for an outing with Liam. "For emergencies," she said, "or dinosaur crises." 3 months after Nathan's hospitalization on a warm summer evening, the Mitchell estate garden transformed into a gathering space for an intimate wedding. Lanterns hung from ancient oak branches, casting golden light over tables adorned with wildflowers rather than formal arrangements. A wooden arch stood beneath the largest tree, decorated with simple white ribbons and fresh daisies. The weeks following their reconciliation had moved with surprising speed, yet natural progression. Nathan had proposed on a regular Tuesday evening in Olivia's kitchen while helping Liam with dinosaur-shaped pancakes for dinner. No diamond ring, just his grandmother's silver band, and a promise whispered while Liam was distracted by syrup options. Evelyn Mitchell supervised final preparations from a garden bench, her recovery from the stroke continuing steadily. The past months had seen a gradual thawing between her and Olivia, not immediate acceptance, but a growing respect built on recognized similarities rather than perceived differences. The breakthrough had come unexpectedly during a tense family dinner, when Liam, with a child's unerring instinct for difficult truths, had asked Evelyn why she was always grumpy around his mother. The directness of the question had startled a genuine laugh from Evelyn, cracking her carefully maintained facade. "Because she reminds me too much of myself," Evelyn had answered honestly. "And that's sometimes hard to see." The acknowledgement had shifted something fundamental between the women. Not friendship exactly, but understanding, a recognition that their shared determination and fierce protectiveness contained more similarities than differences. Now, as guests began arriving for the ceremony, Evelyn watched Olivia through the window of the garden house that served as a bridal suite. The younger woman stood in a simple cream dress that fell just past her knees, hair loosely arranged with sprigs of baby's breath. No cathedral veil, no elaborate train, just natural beauty enhanced by happiness. Liam burst from the house in his tiny gray vest and bow tie, running to Evelyn with the serious expression of a child entrusted with important responsibilities. "Grandma Evelyn, I practiced with the rings again. I won't drop them, I promise." The title used for the first time momentarily stunned Evelyn. She recovered quickly, smoothing his hair with gentle fingers. "I know you'll be perfect, Liam. You're very good at important jobs." He beamed at her confidence, then lowered his voice conspiratorially. "Mommy looks like a princess. Mr. Nathan is going to think she's the most beautiful ever." "He already does." Evelyn replied, surprising herself with the sincerity of the statement. The ceremony began as afternoon sunlight filtered through oak leaves, creating dappled patterns across the gathering. Only 20 guests attended, close friends, key staff from the Kingsley executives who had become more than colleagues. Nathan stood beneath the arch, Liam proudly at his side, the velvet ring pillow held with solemn importance. When Olivia appeared, Nathan's expression transformed joy and wonder and certainty, all merging into a look of complete contentment. She walked alone, her path strewn with flower petals that Liam had insisted were dinosaur footprints leading to forever. The officiant spoke briefly about journeys and unexpected destinations, about lives intersecting at precisely the right moment. Then Nathan and Olivia exchanged vows they had written themselves, words that acknowledged both their individual strengths and their shared vision. I never imagined love would come quietly. Olivia began, voice steady despite the emotions shimmering beneath, dressed in patience and steadiness. You walked into my chaos and didn't try to fix it. You simply stayed. That changed everything. Nathan's hand tightened around hers. And you taught me that strength isn't about building walls, but about having the courage to open a door. You're the home I didn't know I was missing. When the rings were exchanged, Liam delivering them with ceremonial gravity that drew gentle laughter from guests, there was a collective moment of held breath. The significance of these two lives joining, bringing a third into their circle of commitment, felt by everyone present. The kiss that sealed their vows was brief but profound, a promise of partnership rather than possession, of journey rather than destination. As applause broke out, Liam launched himself at both of them, creating a family embrace that captured the essence of what they had built together. The reception unfolded with relaxed joy, good food, genuine conversation, and none of the rigid formality that might have been expected at a Mitchell family event. Nathan and Olivia moved among their guests hand in hand, their happiness creating a gravitational pull that drew everyone into its orbit. As evening deepened, the festivities wound down naturally. Liam fell asleep in Evelyn's lap, his ring-bearer duties completed with distinction, his energy finally depleted after hours of celebration. The older woman held him with surprising tenderness, her formidable presence softened by the trust of a sleeping child. Nathan and Olivia sat on the garden steps watching the last guest depart while paper lanterns glowed above them in the gathering dusk. Liam's even breathing created a peaceful counterpoint to the distant sounds of the catering staff clearing tables. Think we did okay today? Olivia leaned her head against Nathan's shoulder. I think the ring bearer stole the show, he replied, smiling at the sight of his mother gently stroking Liam's hair. But otherwise perfect. They sat in comfortable silence, listening to the quiet rustle of leaves, the occasional chirp of a cricket, and the soft breathing of the boy they both loved. Then Nathan turned to her, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. You know, he said quietly, you didn't just save me from a disastrous blind date that night. Olivia smiled, eyes still closed, absorbing the peace of the moment. No. He shook his head slowly, voice barely more than a whisper. You saved me from a life that looked full on the outside but was empty inside. You saved me from pretending, from loneliness, dressed up in boardrooms and briefcases. You gave me something real. Olivia opened her eyes, meeting his gaze. In that moment, with twilight wrapping around them and their son sleeping peacefully nearby, she knew this wasn't just the end of one chapter, but the beginning of something extraordinary. A family built on choice rather than obligation, on mutual strength rather than dependency, on seeing each other clearly and staying anyway. She kissed him softly, then whispered, and you gave me the one thing I didn't know I needed. Someone who sees all of me and stays. The garden lights flickered on as night finally settled, illuminating their path back to the house. But their hearts were already lit from within, guiding them forward into the life they had chosen together, ordinary in its daily rhythms, extraordinary in its depth of connection, and completely their own.